that of people who were on paper married but practically divorced. Could you maybe explain to us, because you are aware of the Marriage Act and how the process of dissolution of marriage is supposed to be done, and whether in you making this determination there was the aspect of judicial overreach?
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Commissioner. So in that case, the deceased and the plaintiff had separated over 20 years ago, and they were not even in touch. So until when the deceased was ill, the plaintiff only visited once prior to his demise. So practically, there was no relationship, but it was only on paper. Yeah, that is what I meant. And then I also referred to to Article 45 of the Constitution, and also relied on the decision by Justice Nyakundi, which had also dealt with similar issues, and he had referred to Article 45 of the Constitution about family, where people have the free will to associate.
So according to you, so a marriage certificate is not a valid document?
No, it's a valid document, and I think that's why I recognize that both of them were married, because on paper, the plaintiff was married to the deceased, but though practically not. Practically, he was married to I think it's the first
the plaintiff.
Yeah, no.
Yes, the plaintiff.
With the plaintiff, they had the marriage certificate, but with the, I think it's the first defendant.
Yes, the cohabitation.
Yes. That is now what he the deceased knew was, he knew now that defendant was the wife, because practically they were living together. They lived together and they had 4 children for over 20 years.
So would cohabitation be considered a marriage when a party lacks capacity to enter into subsequent relationships? Because I think that was the issue in that case.
Thank you. Actually, it also clicked my mind, but Article 45 of the Constitution, I think in developing that law and the rights of people, their free will to associate, because I don't think it will be fair to say that since you have separated for all these years, you cannot now associate with anyone else simply because you have not formalized the divorce. I think that will be against Article 45 of the Constitution.
Okay. My second question is again with regards to a matter that you handled while you were in Bomet, the unfortunate incident of gang rape. From the facts of the case, that's Bomet Criminal SO number 30 of 2016.
Yes.
The facts of the case were that the complainant, who unfortunately died before recording a statement, was gang raped by 3 persons who are listed in that particular judgment. The post-mortem report did not indicate that the deceased was sexually assaulted. The deceased did not have an opportunity to record her statement, and the witnesses, majorly of them were giving hearsay evidence. And reading through your judgment, in determining that there was rape or gang rape, just a moment, let me look at what you mentioned. In the present case, I have no doubt that the deceased was raped. I say so because she spent the night at the home of the second accused person, and all this information was hearsay. It was probably because of the action, that is rape, committed against her, that she took poison and later passed away. Where did you get this information that the possibility of her taking poison was as a result of rape?
Yeah, I got that from evidence of the witnesses. Yeah, there's those who saw the deceased with those accused people, and even those who saw her going to the house where she was gang raped, and also after that she told some of the witnesses what had happened to her. And I remember one of the witnesses who she even told when she was so devastated, thereafter she took poison. Therefore, it was as a result of that gang rape that she took the poison. And yeah.
So that is according to you, not from the evidence presented?
From the evidence, having looked at the whole evidence and even the circumstances of that case, that would be the only logical conclusion to reach.
Do you think you have the powers to come to that logical conclusion that she was raped because the reason why she took poison is because she was raped? There is no medical evidence to that effect, and the deceased died before recording a statement about the incident. Okay. Are you aware that the Court of Appeal...
Let me just say something also. Because I think she died several days after the incident. So even by the time she was, the body was being examined, there was nothing. Just like a normal person, if you're raped and it takes several days, most of the time the doctors are not able to get that evidence. And I also pointed in the judgment.
Okay, are you aware that the High Court overturned your decision and said that you relied on hearsay and the postmortem report did not indicate any injury?
Okay, the High Court decision, I think it was not brought to my attention.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm not.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe you can have a look at it. Criminal Appeal number 18 of 2017.
Thank you.
Thank you. That is all.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning once again.
Good morning, Commissioner.
I will focus on non-legal issues, and I'll be very brief. The first thing is you've been in the service for 15 years, I believe. Would you share with this commission one thing in those 15 years that you did or got involved that had an impact in judiciary? One thing that you can be proud of in those 15 years that you did that had an impact in your career?
Thank you, Commissioner. What I can say is my contribution to reduction of case backlog throughout the stations.
Which station be specific?
I have served in Bungoma, but during that time there was no performance evaluation, though the head of station, who is now Justice Nyakundi, had come up with we had our own monthly evaluation system, where every month you would present what you have done. So we started the evaluation much earlier, even before it was entrenched in the judiciary, and through those reports, yeah, I was able to reduce the case backlog, as
in
well
Bungoma.
as yes, in Bungoma, as well as in Kakamega. I can also say that I contributed to that, though at that time we did not have evaluation, but I could see just from the matters you're handling and the years, because if you find old matters and you're able to deal with them, by the time you're leaving the station, you're only left with the matters for that year and the previous year. So that shows, yes.
That's good, Madam Achieng. The other question is about efficiency, enhancing efficiency and effectiveness in service delivery. And that is the core in public service now. Would you share with this commission your thoughts or two strategies that you are going to apply in case you get this position to enhance efficiency and effectiveness in your court as a judge? Just two.
Thank you. To promote efficiency
and effectiveness.
And effectiveness.
Yes.
As a judge?
As a judge.
Yes. I will still adopt the methods that I'm already adopting now because they are working. That is to ensure that I begin my courts in time. I'm able to handle as much.
I want you to upscale that. I want you to upscale that. And something much more substantive. We're talking about a strategy to enhance effectiveness and service delivery in your court.
Yes, and also I'll also be able to ensure that I do, like during the pretrial conference, I be able to do the pretrial conference and be able to identify issues early and also see whatever can be ironed out, which does not have to go to hearing. That will also help to expeditiously deal with the
Good.
cases.
Next.
Yes, and also to ensure that litigants and also advocates adhere to the rules, just to be strict and enforce of the rules, so that when something is supposed to be done at a particular time, I ensure that it is done so that we are not delayed.
Could you address yourself to communication as a strategy?
Yes.
Communication as a strategy, as a judge.
Yes.
Yes. Can you address yourself to that? How would
Um,
you enhance communication?
Yes. On communication, I ensure that if there is any information that is to be passed to the litigants or advocates, the same is communicated in good time. Yeah, so that yeah, it will also help enhance the efficiency of the court.
Okay.
Yes.
Stakeholders, very key. Would you share with this commission, as a judge or even as a magistrate, two key stakeholders as far as judiciary is concerned? Just name one or two key stakeholders.
We have the Law Society of Kenya, and we have the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions.
Okay, Law Society of Kenya and DPP.
Yes.
Could you share with this commission two ways that you can enhance stakeholders? Your engagement with the Law Society, your engagement with the DPP.
With the Law Society, we have the bar bench meetings where we engage. And even in our station, we also have the WhatsApp. It's a quick way of communicating. So in case of anything arising at any time, they are able to raise it on the WhatsApp and we are able to address it. Though we also have the bar bench meetings where we
Bar
start-
bench,
yes.
what else?
Also on a day-to-day running of the business of the court, in case of anything, they communicate. They communicate through the court administrators, so that if there's anything that we need to address, then we are able to do so.
Office of the Director of Public Prosecution.
For the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, apart from the just having, if there's any issue that is arising, at times I'll call the prosecutor in charge of the station and just discuss the issue. But other broader issues we discuss in the court users committee, where there are also members. Yes.
Or the resource management, scarcity of resources. I'm sure the resources will be made available to you by the judiciary. Would you share with us two legal frameworks that guide the use, management of public resources? Two legal frameworks.
Yeah, we have the Procurement Act, and we have also the
It's called the Procurement Act. Can you give us a full you are the lawyer. What do you call it?
Public Procurement and Disposal Act,
Yes.
and we also have the Financial Management Act. I may have missed the correct name.
Two values in managing public resources, as per the Constitution. Two values that you guide any public officer in the utilization of public resources.
Public resources should be managed efficiently, and in a way that does not lead to waste.
That is efficiency. Something else. I want you to think hard. You are going to be the judge of the High Court. A very big position. It's also be at your disposal. I don't want you to be caught up in a situation that you are not managing the resource properly. efficiency. What else?
Um,
Have you heard about the Office of the Auditor General?
yes, yes, I have.
Two duties for that office?
They do external audit, and also I think I can only remember external audit.
What is your responsibility to that office as a judge or as a head of a station? As a head of station more than the judge, what is your responsibility to that office?
To ensure that whatever funds are allocated to the station are managed effectively according to the work plans and the procurement plans which have been prepared for the station.
Okay, thank you, Judge. Thank you.
Given the amount of facts that they have to sift through. So explain to us some of the coping mechanisms that you use as a judge if you are successful to cope with stress.
Thank you, Honorable Commissioner. Yeah, even at our level currently, the work is very stressful, but I ensure that after the work, I engage in activities that will help me, just relieve the stress, like doing workouts, just to ensure that I'm fit and also to relieve the stress. Yes, and also just finding, giving myself enough time to rest before embarking on the next work activity.
Given your busy office, maybe you can advise us. Do you do the workout in the morning or after work or on weekends?
After work.
After work.
Yes.
You get some time to do that.
Yes, just in the house. I don't have to go to the gym or anything.
Yeah.
So just in the house.
Okay.
Yes.
Would you say you are diligent worker? And if so, just explain what that means.
Yes, I can describe myself as a diligent worker because I'm self-driven. I do not wait for anybody to tell me what to do. I plan my work. I ensure that I go to the office every day by 7:30. I'm there, and I plan my work so that by 9 I'm ready to begin the court session. And also I ensure that I deliver the rulings and judgments without delay or any other, if the litigants want something to be done, even the certificates of urgency and all those other issues that the litigants will want to be addressed, I ensure that I use the minimum time possible to address them. And also the registry has been telling me, most of the staff keep telling me that we've never seen this. In other stations, you find certificates, you'll get orders the following day. But here we ensure that we work and issue those orders the same day.
My last question, Chief Justice, is that, you know, judges are supposed to be these people who don't show emotions, even though they are emotional beings.
Yes.
So how do you balance that? How do you balance between not wanting to show your emotions to the people before you, and yet some of those things that you are doing are very emotional? How do you deal with that balance?
I think I just have that in me, because actually there's one person who commented that, Madam, when you're seated there, nobody even knows what you're thinking. Yeah, so I think it just comes to me. It's natural. I'll just be there and listen, but you will not know what I'm thinking. I'll only express what I'm thinking in the judgment.
So do you make a put an effort to make sure that you are not showing emotion? Do
Okay, for me, I don't struggle. I think it just comes naturally.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, CJ, Chair. Pam, it's been a long morning. I'll be brief. I don't
Thank
really have much to ask you.
Thank you.
Maybe just straight to the point. Why do you think we measure our performance in the judiciary?
Yes, we measure performance so as to ensure that we are able to rate ourselves and to know where we are in service delivery, so that if there's any challenge, then we are able to address, in order to ensure that we offer good services and that cases are expeditiously heard and determined.
Okay, thank you. Now, I've looked at your performance, the report we have from Depop. Your performance generally is very good. It shows you carry your weight. Your court productivity is very high, higher than the national average by over 100%. There are also signs, just like you have said that you work on backlog, there are signs that you have a concerted effort towards backlog, clearing of backlog. The report shows that out of the 4,280 cases pending in your station, only 644 are backlog, and 257 backlog over 3 years. I think that's quite good. However, your court clearance, case clearance rate is far below the national average. The national average is 83, while your case clearance rate is 75. Now, you said earlier that performance measurements enables us to rate ourselves, how we perform, and also where to help us identify challenges and how to address them. Now, I have given you a report on your station. What does it tell you? Your case clearance rate is quite high, quite low, yet your productivity is very high. What does it tell you?
Thank you. I noted that, but if I compare with where I have come from, that one is a big improvement, because when I went to the station, criminal matters were not moving at all. Yeah, so I had to engage the stakeholders in criminal area, the DPP as well as the police, and now that is an improvement, because clearance rate for civil was much higher than criminal, and I kept telling them I've never seen this in any station. Criminal matters move faster than civil, but that one was opposite. But now we have already turned that around, and therefore we are still working on it, and therefore with time I'm sure we'll be able to reach where we should be. Yes.
Okay, thank you. But with this report, have you identified any challenge with the report I've just given you?
Yes, it's still, we are still not there with the criminal matters, because I still experience challenges, police files not coming, witnesses not coming, and I've been trying to find out what is the cause, and then you find that where Ngong is a unique place, because you'll find that an offense happens, the person is resident there, and then after a short while, especially after COVID, quite a number of people relocated back to their home areas. So you find that getting witnesses or the accused people coming to court has been a bit of a challenge. And like what I saw in Bomet, where they are most of the people are residents, they are so getting witnesses and accused people was not a problem, but we are still addressing it.
Okay. Yes. Another area of your performance is on the corruption prevalence index. This was as of 2019. I realize from the report that I have that by then you were in Bomet, and the report I'm reading you is from Ngong. The corruption prevalence in Ngong was very high, at 13.04% against the national average of 7.03%. So now that you are in Ngong, I'm sure you must have familiarized yourself with that, and what strategies have you put in place to cure this sorry state of affairs?
Yes, those are the first things I normally check when I move to a station. So I saw it, and I asked myself, what can we do? So I keep emphasizing to the staff during the staff meetings about issues of corruption. I sensitize them, as well as during the CUC meetings, just to sensitize stakeholders that we will not condone that. And at the moment, there was a memo by the chief registrar requiring us to establish the corruption prevention committees in the month of April, which we have already embraced, and we have already formed the committee. We even had the first meeting with the staff. So we have already put in place activities which we will undertake to ensure that we sensitize the staff as well as the stakeholders, so that probably by the next time they do the report, that will have changed the picture.
Okay, we'll hold you to that promise.
Yes.
I'll not ask you anything about case management. I think in your answers to earlier questions, you've already addressed your strategy on case management. Now, community service. I have seen what you do in your CV for community service, and I just have one question to ask you. Why do you think it is important to participate or engage in community service?
It's important because it's a way of giving back to society, and also it's a way of ensuring that we can also use those forums to sensitize the members of the society on certain areas which are critical to them, and therefore enhance access to justice for them.
Okay, thank you. Lastly, I have looked at your vetting documents. Everything is in order. The report we receive is that you are an honest and respectful person. You give a listening ear to all. You have a good grasp of the law, good control of your court, good time management, and good temperament. You're also well balanced in your judgments and rulings. Thank you for serving Kenyans so well in such an admirable manner, and I wish you well. Thank you, CJ.
Thank you.
Thank you. Which is your county
Busia County,
and your ethnicity?
Luya.
You know why we ask those questions?
Yes, Honorable Chief Justice.
Yeah, why?
Article 232 of the Constitution requires that there be representation from all communities in the countries in the public sector. So,
Okay.
yes.
Yes, thank you very much for the engagement. That brings us to the end of the interview, but we always ask our candidates whether they have any question to ask the Commission.
I do not have a question, Honorable Chief Justice, but just to thank the Commission for this opportunity. I think it has been a good engagement, and I just want to thank you for giving me this time.
Thank you,
Yes.
and wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Yes.